Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cornu Perold. I'm a strategic account executive with IS3, and I'm really excited to share a truly marvelous success story with you today. I'm going to quickly hand over to my co-presenters, or can I call them victims? Okay. To please introduce themselves. On the screen over there, Jaco.
Good day, Cornu. Thank you. Good day to everybody else. I'm Jaco van Heerden. I'm the EC&I project engineer at African Rainbow Minerals, and I was responsible to lead and manage all aspects of the iROC capital project over its life cycle.
Thank you, Jaco. Ronnie.
Good afternoon. My name is Ronnie Barnard. I'm responsible for production systems and the operational iROC at BlackRock Mining Operations, also known as BRMO.
Thank you, Ronnie. Appreciate that. Jaco, if I could ask that you potentially give us some background on BlackRock and BRMO, for example, just so we put everybody in the picture, so we understand who the company is and so on. Thank you.
For sure, Cornu. Thank you. We have prepared an infographic sheet to assist with our time management today. We've got actually a bit to say, and so I assume everyone got one in hand. In short, it gives you some background of our company, and you're welcome to read this at your own leisure, but I would just like to point out one or two things. You will note that BlackRock Mine Operations is a subsidiary of Assmang Limited, and this is in turn jointly owned by African Rainbow Minerals and ASOR. And then also what I would like to add is that we just recently achieved our 10 million fatality-free shifts, a record in the industry that has took us approximately 13 years to achieve. And we're very proud of this achievement. And then there's lastly on that sheet, website addresses if you want to visit our sites and learn a little bit more about our company.
Thank you for that. I mean, 10 million fatality-free shifts. I think it's definitely something worth considering. It's, I mean, that's an extreme record for any industrial operation. You know, so congratulations, well done. Yeah.
Thank you.
So now to the older hands, people that have been around exchange for some time, you might remember that in 2018 at the exchange, Jaco and his team launched the central control room. You may have seen the video of the control room showing you really the innovation that took place, and you might also recall that they were the proud recipients of a couple of awards at the time, and it was the Best Industrial Automation Management Application Award and also the Best Digital Transformation Strategy. So really, really amazing, and it's really great for us today to take it the next step. You know, so it's now been a while. There's been a lot of development that's happened, and it's really exciting to do that. So Ronnie, if I could ask you, given the success that you guys have had, it's been 4 years now. I'm really, really keen. You know, nothing ever happens the way you planned it. Okay.
Sure.
So yeah, you know, the road to ruin is what is littered with good intent. So that's it. But so I'd love to understand, to see how your strategy has transpired in this time and the gaps that you've identified, and just to see, you know, how it went along the way. I mean, obviously, not everything went the way you planned it.
Yes, thank you. I think we are very proud of how our digital transformation strategy started. As you referred to back in 2018. And our digital strategy in 2018 is the same as it is now.
Okay.
I think that is to, as you can see in our game plan, it's to support the vision of growing our business with innovation. I think the one thing since 2018, which was key for us, is the establishment of, as we call it, a technology office. So the role of the technology office was to take ownership of the technology roadmap, and on top of that, coordinate the technological projects that the strategic projects that we decide to implement. In terms of our business milestones, we wanted to achieve a 25% increase in our production output. As we're sitting here, we're halfway there. And we are, I think we're going to talk a little bit about that story now.
That's exciting, and it's really exciting.
So in 2018, with the implementation of the central control room, as you mentioned, we spent the first 2 years kind of consolidating, and we identified a few gaps that was holding us back. And the last 2 years, we kind of spent getting ourselves ready to fill those gaps. So a few of those gaps is, firstly, our control room did not contain all of the core value chain areas. That's number one. Number two, our mining and surface ore transport operations did not have a SCADA system. And also your short-term planning and scheduling was outside of the control room. It wasn't incorporated into the control room. And second last one is the integration of the system wasn't really as sufficient as we wanted it to be. And I think lastly is we undervalued the operational readiness and the maintenance of the systems.
Okay, yeah. That's really interesting. Jaco, from what Ronnie described, is the iROC, the iROC concept was developed partly based on the BlackRock mining operations digital transformation strategy, which is great. There's a lot of stuff we hear at the conference at the moment. And partly from the gaps identified in the implementation of your CCR. So can you give us a bit of feedback regarding the iROC project?
Sure, Cornu. The iROC project, as the name suggests, is an infrastructure with the capability to provide an integrated remote operational control environment, which then includes all aspects of our operational value stream, from mining, processing, surface ore transport, and finally our product loadout. That includes all three our complexes. The intent of the iROC project was to expand on the existing central control room facility you referred to in your introduction. The execution of the iROC project was started in January 2020, with various workshops being conducted to establish and confirm our user requirements. So we've incorporated the gaps identified that Ronnie mentioned, and as a result had to develop a complete new OMI set of standards for both our business KPIs and our SCADA environment. The physical building had to be enlarged and feature a 45-meter wide video wall with 21 operator workstations. And if I'm not mistaken, according to the guys from Oculus View Wall, it's one of the larger installations in Africa as far as that is concerned. The old central control room would be repurposed. The control room that we had to be repurposed to fit the new iROC building design. And our construction work started approximately June 2021, and the CCR operators were then relocated to their new locations in the iROC around about early November 2021. It took us about 4 months after the construction has started to move the operators, which I also believe was a substantial achievement. We since then had enabled 6 workstations of the 21 workstations, which conforms to this new iROC standards that we've developed for both our SCADA and business KPIs. So, Cornu, if I may use this opportunity, I just want to ask Ronnie quickly, if you're okay. I would like to share and present a few pictures of our iROC control room to the audience.
I'm sure everybody, that's what they were all here for.
Okay. So the previous slide, you saw the plan, and that is considered our complete iROC facility, which consists of the control room as well as the office and the administration component. Ronnie? Thanks, Ronnie. There is the same picture, overhead aerial picture of the same, but in actual, you can see the control room has been completed, the iROC control room, and how it interface with the old control room. And we're busy with the groundworks for the administration component or administration part of the project. Ronnie? What's interesting about this slide is the iROC progress. You will see 2608. I took a picture when we just started with the construction of the roof, and 2610, 8 weeks later, we were ready to move the operators in from the old control room into that environment. So also the construction guys did a remarkable job. Thanks, Ronnie. This is our reception area of our new control room. Ronnie. This is just a view for our video wall. It's very difficult to try to take a single picture, give you the full appreciation of what's inside the building. Ronnie, thank you. This is a shot of 2 operator stations, 2 of the 21 workstations, typical layout, and these 2 workstations conform to the new standards. We'll talk a little bit later about the interaction of the operator between the video wall and the operator stations. Thank you, Ronnie. And then the last picture is we've created space, the space I was talking about for our planning, scheduling, and analytical activities. And this is just giving you also a view of the 270-degree video wall as we've got it currently. Thanks, Cornu.
Jeez, today. Jaco, Ronnie, that is, I mean, guys, I'm sure you'll agree, that's absolutely stunning. That is, I mean, that's such a prized project. I was fortunate to visit a couple of months ago, and it was crazy days in construction at the time. And to look at it now, that's really special. You know, when you walk into the room, you just feel the space, and it's absolutely amazing. So, congratulations to you guys. Yeah, Jaco, Ronnie, really, really amazing.
Thank you,
now, if I look at the construction timeframe, I think you said you started construction in June, and the team moved in November.
Yeah, early November, first week.
Guys, there's nothing that gets built that fast, right? I mean, that's truly amazing, absolutely amazing. And look, naturally, I mean, a lot of the credit goes to you guys, but this was clearly a project with extreme teamwork, you know, and a lot of partners.
Absolutely.
You want to, Jaco, do you want to tell us a bit about the partners?
Yeah, a little bit about we're constrained time-wise. So I just want to say, due to the nature of this project, Cornu, the stakeholder composition is fairly complex. You can refer also to the back of your infographic pamphlet for more details of all the partners involved, and you can, at your leisure, read through that. But I must tell you, Cornu, you're right. I'm very honored and proud to have been associated with such a team of highly skilled, experienced, and motivated professionals to explore and realize the potential opportunities, you know, as you with every workshop, applying state-of-the-art technologies and applications, I want to add, in order to support our vision to be considered as a global leader in the industry.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. It really is. It's well done. So now, looking back at it, the challenges that you faced, and also the opportunities that came out of that. Tell us about those. and I'm sure they weren't only one or two, right?
No, look, I can keep you busy for quite some time, Cornu. But I'm going to try to condense. So from an overall perspective, just as we've completed our user requirement workshop, I think on the 24th of February, anyway, COVID-19 pandemic strikes and forced the project team to work out of their comfort zone. Oh. And we had to start with our designs in a lockdown environment. This created, of course, as you've all been exposed to this. So we created unplanned delays, difficulties with contractors on and off site, and resulted in the completion of the project being extended. And obviously, there's some cost that was associated with that. There was, however, opportunities alike, I must add. The manner in which I join you guys today and be able to be part of this year's exchange testified to that, which I'm very grateful for. And yeah, that's how we conduct a lot of our business executing this project.
That's absolutely magnificent.
So as with any project, we constantly need to guard against scope creep and to remain sensitive to budgets as a result. This type of project has a natural tendency to frequent changes during its life cycle, Cornu. But let's talk about a little bit more specific to scope. When we started with this project, our original scope was just to duplicate the central control room, to make provision for a mining control room. And we thought at the time, we're going to just build onto the success of the central control room. But in the process to establish the user requirement specification, we came to realize that our approach would have led us in the wrong direction. And we were actually heading for failure. So if I can, and I just want to focus on one particular item because that is the main feature of the control rooms, the video wall. For all the intent and purpose, it was not adding the expected value we initially thought. Okay. There were various reasons, and I will not go into all the detail, but to name a few, the integration layer that was designed to support dynamic was not designed for dynamic interaction for the operator to move seamlessly between the video wall and the operator station. So this static solution caused the operators to lose interest. We also found that the information displayed was not necessarily relevant and in some cases totally out of context. We also realized we could not continue with the legacy systems in its current format with all its constraints into the new environment. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But anyway, this necessitated us to redevelop our standards for our traditional in-touch SCADAs to OMI, and we had to redo our SCADA applications. And this decision really was very costly and had a time impact, but the decision really opened so many doors for us, Cornu. But let me give you a few examples. Improving navigation enabled us linking our business to operations via our process streams. Our content was deployed in a more logical approach and following the value chain. And we could get rid of all the clutter that was collected in the legacy systems over time. It also enhanced the application of situational awareness, as we have now the opportunity to build it as part of our standard objects and graphic templates. And this design also then allowed us to apply meaningful solutions to include our third-party operator workstations, which Ronnie will talk about a little bit later, without duplicating their efforts. So we reevaluate the content to be displayed on the video wall, and we redevelop a complete new set of business KPIs to be made available to the operator. in order to enable and empower them to make better informed decisions with the main intent, we use the phrase, to save a shift within a shift. If we can do that, the monthly results will look after itself. We have repurposed the video wall corner in such a manner that it became a fundamental part of the operator activities and how they go about their daily task or their daily activities. So on a more physical note, from the onset, the relocation of the operators from the central control room to this new iROC would have always been a challenge. We have managed to move the entire control room within the space of 1 week after that first week in November date we were talking about. And it must be noted, although we're a 24/7 operation, the relocation was done without any interruption to our operation corner. There was no shutdown plan, there was no long weekends or pay weekends. During normal run of the day, we have been able to relocate those operators without any interference, mainly due to the infrastructure we created with the establishment of the central control room and some clever engineering methodologies. So lastly, I want to, in terms of challenges, you actually talked about the list of partners. I believe all you may have a fairly good idea what it entails to align and motivate such a group of diverse people to a singular vision and outcome. So especially if you involve third parties, which does not necessarily appreciate the value add of the video wall business KPIs or the integration into the Viva OMI solution.
I mean, the project execution is, that's legendary. It really went quickly. And I almost want to ask, how much pain could you have suffered in such a short time? But I'm not going to leave it there. Okay, that's okay. So now, we have to pay the bills now. So I've got to ask you, what Viva Solutions did you guys use in this process? Jaco, if you could answer that.
Yeah, for sure. I knew there would be. Sorry? Feedback. No, I knew you would have a question of that in there somewhere, Courtney. But as noted before, we have introduced a new integration layer using a Viva System Platform 2020 between our business and operational systems. And we used the Viva Operational Management Interface, or OMI, the visualization tool. So a fundamental change with iROC, Cornu, was to incorporate the operations in-touch SCADA systems into this integration layer to support a seamless environment between the operator desk and the video wall. So this solution then also includes the Viva Historian, and we also incorporate a Viva workflow at the time. I'm not into this environment, but I think the name has changed.
Yeah, it's now called Work Tasks.
Work Tasks.
Viva Work Tasks, yes.
Okay, thanks. So we've incorporated Viva Work Tasks then also in our environment. And as for third-party solutions, we do not redevelop nor duplicate their systems. Like I said, Ronnie will talk a little bit about that, but rather we host the applications and retrieve information using APIs within OMI.
Yeah. So I think something very important to understand is that seamless integration between the video wall and the operator stations.
Absolutely.
I think, and I think it was really well executed on the iROC project. One
of our main benefits, Cornu, that was definitely one of our main benefits. We'll talk about, maybe not, but anyway.
Yeah, another day. Ronnie, turning to you. Jaco spent a lot of time telling us about the bits and pieces and the infrastructure. Do you want to tell us a bit more about the other projects that happen at the same time?
Sure. Okay. So from our technology office and our technology roadmap, we identified 2 additional strategic projects. So the one was the iROC project, and then the first one was the mining intelligence project. So there we set out to find a SCADA system for our underground environment. And the main elements of the final solution was an underground Wi-Fi network up to face level. It was equipment, telemetry instruments, Wi-Fi positioning, or positioning based on Wi-Fi, and tablets to the field, the operators and the miners underground. So it said that with this project, we switched on the lights of underground mining for the first time at BlackRock. I mean, you can see what's going on. It's something. I think the main things we managed to do was we managed to enable the mine to plan and schedule all machines, activities, and the entire mining cycle activities is scheduled. Those schedules are sent directly to the field through the tablets, and it enabled coordination of plans, actuals, compliance to schedule. So that was the first additional.
Ronnie, I just want to say, when you said tablets underground, I'm sure everybody went, what? Anyway, move on.
Desperate.
He said I'm not allowed to talk about those challenges. I'm just going to pass over. So I think the second project.
I can tell you a story about tablets, but I'll leave it for another day.
That's great. No worries.
So the second project was surface ore transport. There we set out to find SCADA for our surface ore transport operations. So the main elements of that solution was a private licensed LTE network. It was a not accurate, but precision GPS instruments, also machine telemetry instruments, and also tablets in the field. So the capability we activated there was to digitally plan our ore blends. As you can see, there's a lot of stockpiles going on there, so we could digitally plan that. We could schedule our trucks, dispatch our trucks through the tablets, and then coordinate, monitor compliance to plan, compliance to schedule, compliance to blends. So these three projects, these two third parties was integrated into the Viva OMI platform to give the operator in the iROC one platform where they can get in-time information.
Sorry, I just think there's a thunder again. No.
To make better decisions, enhanced decisions, in-time decisions, by having the right information at the right time. And obviously we also created business KPIs for those two, and also the interaction with the video wall, same as on the OMI scale.
I'd like to dwell on the KPIs and the specific benefits. So now, my feeling is that there are definitely two categories of benefits here. One is definitely engineering. If I look at the project execution and how it was done, and the second one is if I consider business benefits. So Jaco, if I could maybe ask you to give us a bit of a rundown on the engineering benefits.
I'll do that quickly. I think I also would like to hear Ronnie on the business stuff. But Cornu, the iROC continue to capitalize, as I said, on the business, on the benefits from the established central control room, as mentioned before. The seamless transfer of the operators from the central control room to the new iROC building without affecting operations is evident. The ease with which we can deploy new software, test and commission before we apply it to this live environment, typically like redeveloping our in-touch legacy systems. We can run and test the new systems in parallel until such time that all parties concerned have the confidence to switch the old systems off. In that manner, we mitigate our risk to a substantial amount. The iROC is also future ready, meaning we got the technology and solutions in place to support continuous improvement, future growth and development. And we also created physical space, which will be required, and as we grow, this to include for planning, scheduling, and this analytical functionalities, Cornu. And then lastly, from my side, having combined the operator and video wall in a singular environment was a fundamental breakthrough for us. It has empowered the operator to get to any field within 2 or 3 mouse clicks. I see Gary is there in the audience, and he can certainly testify to this. As the video wall KPI objects is directly linked to the relevant operational areas and equipment types. Fantastic features.
You know, this really sounds like I don't want to get too carried away, but the ideal integration of all business aspects that we strive for. Really fantastic. Yeah. Ronnie, you want to tell us about the business benefits?
Yeah, I think if I can summarize it one word, it would be the word integration. Like I think you mentioned it before. So I think what we managed to do is we created this environment for the operators in the iROC, and also with the tablets in the field. So it's one platform that people are using. The information are in time. I don't think it's hard to explain how the leaps, especially with these 2 projects as well, where we came from in terms of in-time information, and that just leads to faster, better decisions, which translates to business benefits. So I think, like I said, in terms of we still have we're halfway, and in terms of our business milestones, we've got halfway to go now. We want to reach that goal in 2024. And I think we're starting to see the trends we want to see, and it tells us we're in the right direction. So I'm going to share just 1 or 2 of those trends with you. So I think that the top left is the Gloria commissioning. So we commissioned the Gloria surface plant with this full Viva's OMI solution intact. That's the workstation that 2 of the 6 that we already activated, and I think we managed to ramp up to the nominal feed rates within 50% of the time. Now I think the way in which information was available played a big role. Big role in that. I think on the right-hand side, we're starting to see, in terms of our Team M utilization, trackless mobile machinery, a solid upwards trend. And we believe that is the signs that the planning, the scheduling, the in-time information is starting to really, we're starting to see those upwards, those real business trends going upwards. I think lastly, in terms of resource optimization, we managed to actually achieve that even with only the 6 workstations already. Which we by empowering again the iROC operators and the field operators to know more, to do more actually, and you really can eliminate these manual intensive processes.
So that's exciting. I'd love to at one point sit and talk to you about change management and adoption and those sort of things. Because all the new tech is always wonderful, but I mean, if I look at the benefits so far, it looks evident that it's moving in the right direction. It's also we're not there yet. It's we still you guys are still halfway to the end goal really. So, Jaco, if we can maybe just talk about the critical or the key success factors that you've been focusing on.
Yeah, Cornu, this is a journey, as you say, we embarked on it. Although we talk a little bit about the project, and isolate the iROC as a start and a finish, it's not necessarily a project with a defined start and end date. So depending on which phase we are or you are, the importance of key success factors may vary. But with respect to the project, I would probably highlight the following, no order in particular. Our design start with a strategy. If you haven't got a strategy, where do you aim? And this is then followed up by supporting specifications. If we haven't done the exercises that we've done, we would not be sitting here. I don't think we would have sat here today. Although we plan to succeed, being on time, within cost, we focus this time. What's different about this program, we focus more to plan to add business value. So every criteria, everything that we evaluate was, does it add business value? And if we can't motivate that, then that particular, we would go back to the drawing board. Our phased approach, rather than a big bang approach, allowed us, Cornu, to focus first on the things that matter. And why I'm saying that, we followed the bottom-up approach. So meaning that we want to ensure that the origin of the data source is secured, validated, and reliable before we build our solution on the information these systems provide. Because garbage in, garbage out, we all know that. We all know why systems fail. It's because the input data that's not secure. So our execution model is also based on partnerships. We realize we can't do this alone, and we embrace the services of experts. The client participation, don't throw that away. It's critical in this process, and to ensure and secure project objectives are met. And lastly, I want to add, there's a whole list, but I want to end with this one, Cornu, operational readiness, which is an absolute. Without the operators' necessary skill sets, training, or don't forget their buy-in, Cornu, we believe you're setting yourself up for failure.
Absolutely. Super important point you raised there, Jaco. Again, the base tech can fail when the people, don't adopt it. Ronnie, before you open the floor to questions, I know we've run over time, I think just a little bit, but I think it's probably worth it. Do we still have time? Geez, today, all right, let's go back. Considering, Ronnie, where you guys are now and the foundation has been laid, I would certainly love to understand what potential you see in the future for the iROC.
Okay, I think our next steps is twofold. Our very next steps, and that is, I think, Jaco might have mentioned it. We've implemented our 6 workstations, and I think we've got a solid solution. So we want to roll out that solutions to the rest of the value chain, to the other 21, or to the total of the 21 workstations. That's first. We're going to be busy with that. We're currently busy with that. Then, secondly, in parallel, is we want to make sure we consolidate. I want to make sure. So as I'm sitting here tomorrow, we're going to start with. There's a team of experts we got together. So we want to make sure we go in now and make sure we really get the value of the iROC. It doesn't help. It's just something that looks nice. It must give us real value. So we want to make sure we get the right things, we do the right things as soon as possible. If we're not on the right road, we must get back. And in terms of next steps, a little bit the bigger steps, I think I'm going to mention continuous improvement, definitely, just to make sure we keep up. Then we will, in terms of, we want to integrate the medium-term planning and scheduling into the iROC.
Yes.
And secondly, we want to, I've got my last few points.
We want to, is it not analytical? We also want to
yes,
do
analytical. That's you mentioned the name there. Yeah, so I think the analytical and operational analytics, that's the second one.
Yeah.
Yes.
To really, you got your workstations and your video wall, but starting to analyze really a bit of trending and make sure we understand the business. Can't forget that one. And I think, That's
All right. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Also, Jaco would have reminded me, and he mentioned it actually, is finishing the complex, the iROC complex.
Yes.
So we've got the control room, and we've got now on the left-hand side, on the arrangement, you saw the iROC and the iROC complex, which will be a space for more your management, your key management levels to be part of the iROC facility.
It sounds like you're integrating the operation overall.
Yes.
You know, from a HR perspective, or let's say a logistics perspective, everybody is in the same environment. It's not just the technology. So it definitely must help a lot. And I think obviously important is to always gauge the value that you've achieved. You know, it's not just, as you said, you know, pretty pictures. It really looks great. But what value does it bring the business? Is it money well spent? You know. Yeah. Right. I think at this point, I want to open the floor for questions.